I decided to film this class because I thought it was fun and maybe you're interested in trying it out. So we're going to play with cross-lateral connections today, which means from one side of the body to the opposite side of the body, from right hand to left foot, left hand to right foot, and vice versa, crossing through the center. And we're going to use or keep this connection in mind as we go through some more habitual yoga stuff and some movements that might be a little less habitual. Because the class is recorded, you're welcome to stop whenever you want and rewind it and rewatch it. And just take your time as you go through it. We're going to start laying down, and I invite you to have your knees bent and maybe drop your knees from side to side a few times, or if you have any other movement that you'd like to take to kind of get into your body, that's totally great. I'm just going to try to find my back surface as it lands on the ground and see if I can find the support of the floor before I make my way to a constructive rest position. The arms are down by my side, my knees are bent and about parallel. I'm going to take a few breaths, see if I can relax the neck, relax the chest, relax the back ribs. They might want to fly up, right? And from here, keeping the feet nice and heavy on the ground, I'm going to lift my arms up towards the ceiling. If you have a foam block, you can grab it, a cork block too, but they get a little heavy. Or I'm just going to imagine that I have something between my hands, and I'm going to take that object and pull it over towards the left, as if I was trying to put it on the ground. I'm going to try to keep my fingertips aligned. So my top arm is going to have to reach a little bit more than my bottom arm. And then I'm going to come back down, widening the rib cage as I roll back to center and go over to the other side. Reaching with the top hands a little bit more than the bottom, as if I was trying to wrap it around myself. I like to roll the head on the floor and then lift it when I go to the side so I can follow the hands. You can also keep the head on the floor the entire time or keep it lifted the entire time, whatever works. And the last couple of times that I go through this, I'm going to try to keep the pelvis from accommodating, from rolling together with the ribs. So I'm going to find a little bit of a counter rotation almost. And my arms might not get quite as far towards the ground. I'm just going to take them around one side and the other and differentiate between the upper body and the lower body, between the rib cage and the pelvis. Rib cage rolling to one side, following the hands, pelvis staying steady, maybe counter-rotating slightly towards the other side. I'm going to take this maybe one or two more times. Feel free to play with it if something is coming up that is of interest to you. And then eventually I'll make my way back down. And you can take your arms down to let them rest. Maybe rock your head a little from side to side to make sure that the neck is comfortable. There's a couple of more pretty straight up core stuff that we're going to throw in. A little modified, but nothing particularly transcendental. I'm going to start with the knees bent again, and this time I'll take the arms up overhead, trying to keep my ribs nice and snug on the floor, rather than letting the arms flop and the ribs lift, right? And then I'm going to circle sideways towards my outer left knee, let's say. So I'm going to circle around towards the left, as if I was trying to pass or to place the block to my outer left knee, and then circle back down. And then go the other way. Circle around towards the right, keeping the hands aligned, and then circle it back down. And again, we'll take this a couple more times on each side, or you could go a little faster than me, or a little slower. We'll catch up at some point. I'm going to try to keep the pelvis relatively quiet and relatively still. And I'm approaching my last round of these. And then eventually we'll take it back down. Relax the arms down, maybe even relax the legs down for a moment in a sort of loose X shape, and give your body a little wiggle. Sometimes I get abdominal cramps or diaphragm cramps when I do too many crunches. If that's the case, give yourself some time to recover and breathe. And then we're going to take it into a full circle. So I'm going to start with my arms up overhead. I'm going to peek aside. I'm going towards the left. Circle towards the left, as we just did. And then go up and over the knees as if we're trying to pass my block or my ball to someone past my knees. And then go down towards the right. I like to follow with my face. So you look at the hands, and I'm going to circle in the same direction a couple of times. Noticing all of the adjustments and the choices and changes that my muscles have to do to circle around. It just kind of keeps changing as opposed to some more traditional crunches that are a little bit more linear in nature. And then at some point, I'm going to switch sides, and I have about 4 circles, if you're moving with me, to do on the second side. Going to the right, up and over the knees, and towards the left. Reaching with the top hand, and perhaps playing and see how high can I get when I go past my knees. And I have a couple more, if you're going with me. Approaching my last circle. And then I'm definitely gonna land it. And take a moment to stretch the legs out. Take a breath, maybe even do arch the back. Did a lot of spinal flexion. And then we'll take it into a little bit of an experiment. We're gonna go into an X shape. So my feet are a little bit wider than the mat, if I had a mat, a little wider than the hips. Arms are higher than the shoulders and quite wide too. Not exactly overhead, but a little wider. And from here, I'm gonna start by reaching my right fingers and my left toes away from each other so far that they lift a little bit up off the floor, and then I might take them up towards the ceiling. So they're reaching towards the ceiling and a little bit towards one another. And then I take them back down. And I try the other side. It doesn't matter if your knee's straight or bent or how high the leg goes. I'm gonna reach right fingers or right toes and left fingers, away from each other. Reach them so far that they start to float up off the floor and towards the ceiling. And I'm reaching towards the ceiling with the fingers and the toes, and they're coming towards each other. And then I take them back down. And we're gonna use that principle to come up to sit. We're going to break it down, and you can try it as you wish. We're going to start bending the right knee and the left elbow, right, for support. These two limbs are mostly supporting. And then I'm going to use my right fingers and my left toes in the similar way to what we just did. I'm going to push with my right foot a little bit and reach my right fingers towards my left toes. Use my left elbow to push myself up to sit. And once I'm there, I just release my right foot going down on the ground for a second. And then push with my right foot again, reach right fingers towards left toes. And find, the more I reach, the slower I can go down without falling. Find my left elbow again on the ground, unthread myself up into my twist, into my X shape. I'm gonna do the second side, breaking it down, and then maybe we'll speed it up a little bit. I'm gonna bend my left knee and bend my right elbow. And then I'm gonna reach left fingers to right toes. Push with the left foot and with the right elbow to help me come up to sit. So I have some support. And find my 2 sit bones. And then reach again. Keep reaching those 2 long limbs so that I can slow down my fall. And then reopen into my X shape. One more time. Right knee, left elbow, reaching right fingers towards left toes, using my left elbow to help me push up. And then keep reaching, find the left elbow down on the ground, open up, unraveling back to my X shape. Bend the left knee, bend the right elbow, reach the left fingers towards the right toes, use the other 2 limbs to give me a little push. release the left sit bone, and then reach to slow down my descent, find my right elbow, and open the body back up into my X shape. From here, we're going to put it together into a circle. So we're going to come up one way and come down the other way. We'll do it a couple of times one side, a couple of times the other side, and then you'll have a moment to play around with it if you'd like. Take the right knee, bend it, left elbow, bend it, and reach right fingers towards left foot. Use the other two limbs to push. Once I'm up here, I'm going to take a moment to almost find an X shape seated, straightening my right leg. And then I'm going to bend my left knee and my right elbow to come down towards the right. Find my X shape. Bend the right knee and the left elbow. Reach. Right fingers towards left foot. Find my seated X shape. And then switch. Going down towards the right. Bending the left knee and the right elbow. Back to my X shape. Take a moment to reorganize. We'll come to the left and down, or to the right and down towards the left. Bend the left knee, bend the right elbow, reach all the way up and around to come up to sit. Find my seated X shape. Bend the left knee and the the left elbow and the right knee and come down towards the left. Back to the X shape. Bend the left knee and the right elbow. Reach all the way up and around towards the right toes. Find my seat. Bend the right knee, left elbow, come all the way down and around into my X shape. And take a moment. I'm going to circle around a few times this way and that. You can go quite fast if you want, or see if you can let it just get organized in your brain somehow. You can also go back to the simpler variations of just coming up and sitting down. Whenever you're ready, just give yourself a second to play around with it, just about a minute, not very long, but to see if you can let it integrate somehow in your own body and in your own memory and in your own way of moving. If you have it clear, it could be fun to go pretty fast, because you can go pretty fast and take a little bit of momentum as you go around. Whoops. Eventually, we're going to meet back down in our X shape at just one last little bit of these, I promise. And then we'll come back into some more habitual yoga things. Whenever you're ready, right knee, left elbow. Reach your way around. As you come up to sit this time, instead of dropping the sit bones down, reach with your right fingers even more so that you can shift your left hand behind you a little bit more towards the left. Because then from here, you might want to step your right foot in towards the midline a little bit more. We're going to flip. So my right hand is going to reach around, and I'm going to place it as if for hands and knees or downward dog. And it's going to drag the rest of my body around. From here, my left knee is going to come around, and then I'm going to find my seat again. Right? It might be a little bit different orientation, but we'll live. We can try that again. I'm going to push with my right foot, but reach with my right hand. My right hand is the one that's leading me around. And then my left knee is going to lead me around. And then I can come down the same way, reorganize my left arm so it goes out to the side, and find my X shape. We'll go towards the other side. Left knee, right elbow. Sweep around to come up to sit. Sweep a little bit more. My right hand is going to move a little towards the right. My left foot can move a little towards the midline. And then I'm going to reach, following my left hand into a hands and knees or downward dog kind of organization. The right knee is going to twist me around to come back up to sit. And left hand takes me around. Right knee takes me around. And then I'm going to release it back down, replace place my right elbow a little bit to the right. Come back down into my X shape. Nice. And last time, we're going to come up to sit. Right knee, left elbow, come all the way up. And just one time, we're going to flip. And we're going to re-flip, keeping the pelvis up off the floor. And then I'm going to re-flip, coming onto my hands, and flip. Place the pelvis back down on the floor, roll down. We're going to come down towards, or come up towards the right. Left knee bends, right elbow bends. Come all the way up. Place the right hand at the left foot, and then flip. And flip. Maybe keeping the pelvis up off the floor. Keep your left fingers and right toes reaching. Left hand reaches around. Right knee reaches around. Left hand reaches around. Right knee reaches around. And then I'll place myself back down. And release into my X shape. We're going to come back to that, but for now you can forget it. Let it go. Hug your knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little movement. Maybe shake off your wrists. We're going to come up to sit and into hands and knees. And as you come into your hands and your knees, organize and take some cats and some cows. You can take your breath. Let your breath start to organize with the movement. Or maybe your movement is a little faster than your breath, or a little bit slower. Or maybe you're not exactly doing cats and cows. You can take some circles from your hips, from your ribs, from your head and neck. Just give yourself some space. Or some time and space to play with your body for a moment. If you want, you can tuck your toes under, sit back onto your heels, get your toes nice and stretched out. See if your pinky toes can get there too. At some point, we will meet back on hands and knees with a neutral spine. Now I'm going to turn towards you and see if I can mirror you. Hopefully I'll get the sides right. Just bear with me if I don't. We're going to take the right leg out to the side as if I was taking Prasarita, wide-legged forward fold. And then from here I'm going to find my supporting side, which is my left hand, and I already did it wrong, my right hand and my left knee, so that I can lift my left arm up towards the ceiling. Give it a moment there, reach left fingers away from right foot, and then thread the left arm under and place the shoulder on the floor. You can do whatever you want with your right arm. You can reach it up, you can wrap it around you, you can place it on your sacrum. What I'm more interested in is the relationship between the left fingers and the right toes that are reaching towards each other. I'm going to take a couple of breaths here, check in with the neck, make sure your neck is comfortable enough. Sometimes this is an odd place to be. And then I'll take the right hand back down on the floor, unthread my arm, place both hands on the ground. Shift the weight forward a little bit. I'm going to try to put my weight onto my right hand and left knee to lift the right leg up, and then lift the left arm up. Take a breath or two, and then replace my limbs down. Take a moment to shake it out if you need to. And then we'll go to the other side. So left leg out to the side. I'm gonna find my foundation through the left hand and the right knee so that I can lift my right arm up, maybe even twist up towards it a little. And then thread that arm under, place the shoulder on the floor. Place the head on the floor, make sure your neck is comfortable enough. And you do whatever you want with your left arm. You can wrap it around your back, you can place it on your sacrum, you can keep it up towards the ceiling. The right fingers are reaching towards the left foot, but is there any way that your left foot can also reach a little bit up and forward towards your hand? so the leg is also engaged. We'll take a couple of breaths here. And then I replace my left hand on the floor. Replace my right hand on the floor. My foundation is still through my left hand and my right knee so that I can lift my left leg up, lift my right arm up, and take a moment to pause. And then take the hand down, take the knee down, and let it go. We can take a moment to shake it out. I'm going to turn to the side again. We're going to meet in downward facing dog. Whenever you're ready, take your hips up and pedal out the feet. As you pedal out the feet, you might notice that the knee that you're bending, as you bend the knee, you lighten up the weight on the foot, right? See if you can have your pathway established. So if I bend the right knee, can I support with the left foot and the right hand? And it's not that going on the left hand will be wrong, it will be totally fine. We're just doing this one today. And then if I bend my left knee, I find my right foot and my left hand. And you might also notice simply that there is one dominant arm that is more willing to take the weight. That might happen on both sides. Or you might like to go onto the same side, same arm and same leg. And all of these things are normal and totally fine. And then we're going to take this same movement into a little walk. So every time I bend one knee, I'm also going to step it forward. And I might play with lifting the opposite hand as the opposite foot as I paw my way forward, shifting the weight from my hands to my feet until I find myself in a comfortable enough forward fold. Feel free to bend your knees. I always like to shake off the head here just to give the neck a little bit of softness. You could grab opposite elbows, give yourself a little side to side wiggle. Whenever you're ready, bend the knees and roll the spine up to come up to stand in our mountain pose. And as you come up to standing mountain pose, you can organize however you want. You can have your feet together, or you could have them hip width apart. That's entirely up to you. I'm going to find my standing position and see if I can make it not super contrived. I'm just kind of standing there, finding my two legs, finding my center, finding the ground under the soles of the feet. And then we'll take 3 sun salutations. Surya Namaskar again. I'm going to talk you through them if you want to follow, but if you want to move at your own pace or do variations, feel free to do all the variations you'd like to do. Whenever you're ready, we'll take an inhale to lift your arms up. And exhale to swan dive forward and take the fingers down to the floor. Bend the knees as needed. Inhale for a half lift. And exhale to hop or step back to your vinyasa of choice. It could be knees, chest, and chin that I'm doing now, or it could be anything else. Take a few different variations. Slide forward to inhale into your cobra. And then as you exhale, find your hands and knees to move back up into downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breaths. In downward facing dog, if you'd like to move around, you can move around. If you'd like to stay, you can stay. About 1 more. And then whenever you're ready, let the knees look between your hands and take a hop or a walk, bringing your feet forward towards the hands. Inhale for your half lift. Exhale to fold over your legs. Inhale to reverse your swan dive, come all the way up. Exhale, arms down by your sides. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, take your fingers down to the floor. Inhale, look forward for your half lift. Exhale, hop or walk. Take your vinyasa of choice. I'm going to take a half chaturanga now. Knees down, lower halfway, and then sweep up into upward facing dog. Exhale, back up to downward facing dog. 3 breaths. And at the bottom of the next exhale, exhale, I'm gonna bend the knees, look between the hands. Take a walk or take a hop. Bring the feet forward towards the hands. Inhale for a half lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to reverse to swan dive. Come all the way up to stand. Exhale, arms down, leg sides. Last one if you're going with me. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Take your fingers down to the floor. Inhale, look forward, half lift. Exhale, hop or step. I'm going to take a full chaturanga now. Just bending the elbows, shifting the weight forward towards the fingers. Upward facing dog. Straighten the elbows, lift the chest. And downward facing dog and then exhale. Finding the feet. Softening the knees a little if you want to. Mindful of the shoulders. Sometimes I like to drop the chest through. I think it's fine. If you do it sometimes, it's also a lot of load for the shoulder joints. So sometimes it's nice to find a more neutral shape for the spine. On your next exhale, and bend the knees, look between your hands. Take a hop or take a walk. Feet towards the hands. Inhale for your half lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to reverse your swan dive. Come all the way up. Exhale, arms down, right sides into your mountain pose. I'm going to take a moment in mountain to pause, to see what the body feels like, to get reorganized, to notice if there are places in the body where the breath is not moving with ease, and see if I can take more movement there, more breath there. And then feet can be together or hip width apart, your choice. I'm going to take them hip width, but you can do whatever you want, to take a chair pose. As I take my chair pose, I'm going to imagine my block or my beach ball between my hands, and take it up overhead, and without moving the hips and the legs at all, I'm going to circle around, same as I was doing when I was laying on the ground. Maybe following the ball or the block with your gaze. And I'm going to do about 3 rounds on one side, and then 3 rounds on the other side. And this one is more of an isolation. It's not much of a core thing, but more of an isolation of how much can I move the upper back without moving the pelvis? How much mobility can I find in my torso without moving the lower body? And the next time I come up, take a breath in, reach the arms around until I can interlace the fingers behind the back, roll the shoulders back, and then fold over the legs. You can straighten the knees if you want. You can keep them bent if you want. If this shoulder variation is horrifying, just let go of the arms. If it feels interesting, stay there. Your knuckles are going to reach up towards the ceiling first, and then perhaps overhead. As you reach overhead, your shoulders will have to shift forward, and you might get a little cranky for the neck, so just check that. And then eventually, release the arms if you still have them, leave your neck and shoulders a little shake. And take an inhale to find your chair pose again. Stay as you exhale. Stay as you inhale, and then as you exhale, fold forward, fingers to the floor. Inhale, look forward for your half lift. Exhale, hop or step back. Take a vinyasa if you like. Skip it if you'd like to skip it. I'm going to start with the left leg, just so I can face the right direction, in case you get confused. Take a breath in whenever you're ready. Lift your left leg up towards the ceiling. Feel the support of your left hand and right foot. And then open the hips and take a bend in the knee. And for some of us, the weight might want to shift towards the right hand. See for today, if you can keep it on your left hand. Take a deep breath in and deep breath out. On an exhale, take your left knee towards your chest. Pause there for a moment and see if you can lift your right hand for a second, or 2 or 3 or 5. And then replace the hand, step the foot forward between your hands and windmill your way up to a warrior 2. Good. Once I'm in warrior 2, I'm going to try to consider the contralateral or cross-lateral connections again. So my right foot is reaching one way, my left hand is reaching the other way. My right hand and my left knee. And I might be able to find and settle into my center by finding the sides. I'm going to take a breath or two there. Maybe deepen the lunge if I want the legs to work a little harder, maybe not. Take an inhale to reverse the warrior, straighten the front knee if you want to give it a little break. And then I'm going to windmill down to a twisted lunge, thinking about my right arm, the one that's in the back, pulling me over towards my left foot. Let the right heel lift up off the floor, left arm goes up towards the ceiling, and I stay there. And if you want to take any other variation of a twist, feel free to do that. You can put your back knee on the floor, you can hook your elbow, you can wrap your arms around your back, whatever works. Take one more deep breath in, deep breath out. And then take your left hand back down to the floor. Step back into downward facing dog or to a vinyasa if you'd like to do it. And we'll go to the second side. We'll meet in downward facing dog. To take an inhale, lift the right leg up and back behind you. Open the hips, take a bend in the knee, keeping the weight on the right hand, which for some of you will be the normal pattern. For some of us might feel a little bit less natural. And just see how it changes, if it changes your pattern or your shape. On your next exhale, take your knee towards your nose. Pause there for a moment. Find your right hand and your left foot and see if you can lift your left hand a little bit. And then replace the hand on the floor. Step the foot between your hands and windmill your way up to your warrior two. Once you're up in your warrior two, organize your legs, make sure they're where you want them to be, and then find your right fingers reaching away from your left toes, your left fingers away from your right knee. And those two pathways cross over each other right at the center of your body, or what we'll call the center for today. Take a couple more breaths. Let your warrior two be nice and steady. It's a familiar pose for most people. And then take an inhale to reverse it. If you want, straighten your front knee for a moment. And then catch your left arm, let it circle around and forward towards your right knee as if you're doing, as you were doing earlier, to come up, to come to your twisted lunge. The left heel is going to lift up off the floor, the right arm can go up towards the ceiling. What I'm more interested in is the relationship between the right leg and the left arm, right? You can do any variation you like, perhaps whatever variation you did on the first side. Take a couple of breaths still in your downward facing dog. Go in your twisted lunge, and then we'll meet in downward facing dog. So take the hands down, step back to a vinyasa, or step back to downward facing dog. And as you're ready, you'll bend the knees, look between the hands, take a hop or take a walk. Feet towards the hands, inhale for your half lift, exhale to refold. And then inhale to reverse your swan dive, come all the way up. And take your arms by your sides, in mountain pose. And we'll go into a balance here. I'm going to shift my weight. Let's shift it onto the left foot. Shift the weight onto your left foot. We'll start from the left again. Pick up your right knee. Pick up your right knee. Lift your arms up like you did earlier with your beach ball. From here, you're going to keep your right arm reaching up towards the ceiling. Reach your left foot down. And then cross your left arm towards your right foot or towards your right knee, depending what your legs allow you to do. So not twisting, though if you want, you can certainly open into a twist towards the right, and then come back. Changing focus is going to make it harder to balance. What I'm interested in is the right arm and left foot, left arm and right foot. And then from here, I'm going to think about the right leg and the left arm moving away from each other as I open through a sort of Ardha Chandrasana variation, just for a moment, to then step back into side angle. And I'm taking my left elbow on my thigh. You're welcome to take any variation you like. Once I'm here, I'm going to land. I'm going to organize my spine. I'm going to organize my feet, make sure that they're where I want them to be. If you want to work a little bit harder for a few breaths, lift your left arm. So you still have your left arm and your right foot reaching away from each other big time, lengthening to the left side of the body. Take one more breath here. And then with an exhale, we'll take it down and parallel the feet towards the side of your mat in wide-legged forward fold, reaching your left hand to your right leg. I'm not mirroring you here. And taking a twist. Right arm can go up towards the ceiling, can go in your sacrum, can wrap around your back. Whatever you want to do. Similar to what we did earlier on the knee, but different. I'm going to take a few breaths. And then eventually, release the hands down to center. Maybe take a little half lift. Organize your feet however you want them to be for your wide-legged forward fold. You can do whatever you like with your arms. And just take a few breaths here. And then you walk your hands forward to find a flat back again. Turn the left toes towards the front to walk your way to a lunge, back where you came from. Okay. From here, find a three-legged dog with your left leg sweeping right back up into the air. Keep the weight onto your left hand as you open the hips and take a bend in the knee. Take a breath in and a breath out. On your next exhale, you'll take your knee towards your chest. Remember what we were doing earlier on in class. We're going to flip. And we're going to sit. Good. And from here, you can grab a hold of your outer foot. Your right knee can stay bent, but if you like it, you can straighten it. And sit up onto your sit bones. And take your twist. Left arm goes straight towards the back. If you want to work harder, you can release the foot so the leg has to hold itself up. I'm going to take a couple more breaths here in the twist. And then I'll take the hand back down. Release the foot if you have it in your hands. We'll flip again, following the right hand to dive into three-legged dog. Either take your foot down, take a vinyasa, or take a three-legged vinyasa if you want. Keeping the left leg lifted and the lower down. And keep it lifted the entire time. We're meeting downward facing dog to lift the left leg up in the air again. If you put it back down and take the knee forward to step the foot between your hands. Step your right foot to meet it. You're back in your forward fold. Give yourself a moment to shake things out. And then bend the knees. Roll your way back up or swan dive up. We're back in mountain pose to go to the second side. So the second side, we're going to shift the weight onto the right leg. Pick up the left knee. Lift the arms up as if I had a ball. Reach the left fingers up as I reach my right foot down. And then reach for the left knee with the right hand. Or if you have access to it, the left foot. If you did so on the first side, take your twist. Find something to look at, I would suggest. And then twist. And then twist back to front. Take a couple of breaths there. Release the left leg and find this opposition between the right fingers and the left foot as you open your way out towards a sort of Ardha Chandrasana before you step down into your side angle. Organize your legs however you want them to be. Make sure you're nice and steady. I have the forearm on the thigh, or you can do whatever variation you want. And if you want to go with me for a few breaths, we'll find that left finger is away from right foot. The torso will probably lift up a little bit for most of us. And then eventually, we'll sweep the hands down, parallel your right foot, reach your right hand towards the left leg. And we have our wide-legged forward fold twist on the second side. A few breaths here. Depending where you're grabbing, or if you're grabbing your leg, you can do whatever you want. What I'm interested in again is that relationship between the left leg and the right arm. And then eventually we'll release the hand and the torso back to center. And here you have a few moments of freedom. If you'd like to take a headstand, if that's part of your practice, feel free to go for your tripod. If you'd like to stay in your forward fold, you stay. If you'd like to take a squat to give your hamstrings a little break, you can do that too. I'm just going to take a moment to make sure I can still do a headstand, which seems like I can. And then we'll make our way back to wide-legged forward fold from wherever you are. Take your time to organize. Walk your hands forward, find a little half lift. Pivot your right toes back where they came from to find your lunge. And here's where things get maybe a little sticky. You're gonna step to your three-legged dog with the right leg up in the air and open the hips and take a bending knee to find support of your right hand and your left foot. On your next exhale, take your right knee towards your nose and towards your chest and flip. And sit. And see if you can grab a hold of your foot or knee with your hand. Left leg can stay straight, can stay bent, or you can straighten out. Then I'm going to take my twist. If you want, your leg is going to work a lot harder if you let go of the foot and lift your leg up on its own. Then whenever you're ready, if you have your foot or your leg in your hand, you let them go. Replace your right hand behind you. Follow your left hand to cartwheel your way around to your three-legged dog. From here, downward dog, vinyasa, or a three-legged vinyasa, your choice. Possibly whatever you did on the first side. We meet in downward facing dog to lift the right leg up. And on an exhale, step the foot forward. Step the left foot forward to meet it. Then you're in your forward fold. Give yourself a little shake out. Let things go. Whenever you're ready, we'll make our way down to sit. And from here, to roll down onto the back. I am now facing the opposite direction from where I started. I'm okay with it. Feel free to organize your body and your mat however you want. We'll take a bridge here. So take a moment, let yourself rest. That was a lot, maybe, for some of us. Whenever you're ready, arms can be by your sides, soles of the feet plant on the floor. And I'm gonna lift up, lifting the hips, pushing the feet down. Interlace the fingers if you want, and tuck your shoulder blades under. That will lift your chest a little bit more. You could stay here, or if you want, you can take a little walking. Lifting the right foot, finding the weight on the right shoulder and left foot, and then switching. And I find you can also separate the fingers to do this if it's better. That if I think about the 2 points that are moving into the ground before I start to lift the leg, the movement is a little bit more smooth and it doesn't have that jumpiness that usually happens when you lift the foot up. If you've had enough of this, just let it go. Whenever you've had enough, take a moment in your bridge. 2 feet on the floor, maybe lift a little bit higher, and then slowly, slowly separate the hands. Release down to the ground, and drop your knees from side to side. Easy release. And you could stay here. If you feel like it, we'll take one more back bend. Then we're going to go for a wheel and lift the legs. We didn't do a lot of back bends today or a lot of shoulder openers, so be mindful of that as you approach it in your practice. If you're going for a wheel, you're going to take your hands next to your ears with the elbows straight up towards the ceiling, knees straight up towards the ceiling, and then you float your way up. Organize hands and feet, and then if you want to try it, lift one leg up, and then the other leg. Maybe do it again, maybe not. Whenever you've had enough, you come down, back to the floor, and we'll drop the knees from side to side, and let things settle, and release. Here, we'll take a figure 4, right ankle over left knee, over the other side. And I'm going to grab a hold of whatever I can on my left leg. Could be the back of the thigh, could be the shin. If you want to get into more hamstring stretchiness, you can stretch your leg up towards the ceiling. Wherever you're grabbing, see how much work your shoulders are doing and see if you can be pretty limited. Right? Even if you decide to pull your leg in quite actively, can it happen from your trapezius muscles and your rhomboids, from kind of like pulling from your back and from your biceps rather than from your shoulders, right? So shoulders and neck can stay relatively quiet. Couple of more breaths. Figure 4 on the right side, and then I'll keep the legs in the same figure 4 shape, but just release the left foot on the floor. Take the knees down towards the left. So the sole of my right foot will go on the ground. My right knee is going straight up towards the ceiling. If you want, you can use your left hand to give it a little push. Or maybe it does it on its own, which is a really nice strengthener for the muscles in the outer hip. Be mindful of your lower back and SI joint. If there is tenderness there, you might want to take it a little easy on the push of the knee. And then from here, keep the legs in your figure 4. They lift up towards center, and then they go down towards the right. So now your right knee will be on the floor, and your right foot is still kind of over your left knee. You just let left hip and hip flexor get a little space. Take a few breaths here. Nice and easy. Nice and simple. Last funny transition of the day. You're going to uncross your right foot. Reach with your left arm around and sweep your left leg back. And you'll be in pigeon. Pretty much. You're probably going to have to organize a little bit. Get organized. If you like to have padding under your hips, feel free to have padding. And then you can fold forward. If you like to take more back bendy stuff, you're always welcome to do that. Take a few breaths. In pigeon. Any variation of pigeon. Whenever you're ready, make your way back up. And we'll come down as we came in. So you kind of sweep your left leg forward, let your right elbow find the ground, circle your way back around, and you're back onto your back. Take a moment to relax, take a moment to reorganize. If you have a mat and you need to get organized on your mat, do so. And then your left ankle comes onto your right knee, and you grab a hold of whatever you like to on this side. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's a little different. My two sides are very asymmetrical, so sometimes they do different things. Today I'll do the same. For video, so it's nice and clean. And I'm gonna take a moment every now and again to check in with the neck and the shoulders. So that they can stay relatively quiet. Even as I might be pulling with my arms, I'm gonna use my arms and I'm gonna use my back. And then from here, I'm going to keep the figure four, but release the right foot down on the ground. Drop the knees towards the right. Sole of the left foot will come on the floor, left knee will go up towards the ceiling. You can use your hand to give it a little nudge, or you can let it do on its own. And then take the knees back up to center, drop them off towards the left. And then last funny piece, you release your left foot down. Reach with your right hand around, pushing off of your left elbow, and at the same time, sweep your right leg back. This is easier if you're not on a sticky mat, I'll say. If you're on a nice wooden floor, it's a little bit easier. But then you're in your pigeon. We'll take a few breaths here, whatever variation you'd like to do on this side, maybe whatever you did on the first side. If you do different variations, be aware that you're doing it. Do it with full intention. Make sure it's a choice. your way back up. We'll come out as we came in. Sweep the leg around, find your left elbow, roll onto your back. And you're done. Take a moment to find your Shavasana or your resting position. And I would say prioritize comfort. Make sure that whatever you do, whatever shape you end in, make sure that it's comfortable. I'm going to pause here for maybe a couple of minutes and then I'll close. But if you'd like to turn the video off and be on your own and take a nap, that's great. Still with me, and if you'd like to close, take a moment to shake yourself out, take a moment to stretch and to wiggle and to yawn and to eventually make your way up to find a comfortable seat. And from your seat, you might again find your center. You might let it expand up and down along your midline. And if you'd like to, take the palms of your hands to heart center. As my teacher says, in gratitude to all the teachers and students who've gone before, and to the greatest teacher of all, which is that within ourselves. Thank you. I hope this was fun and interesting. I hope the sound was okay.